up the mysteries. The old earth keeps exploring the unknown, and keeping the wonder alive. He's bringing the flame to the legendary show. Paranormal among us, where the proof is paramount. Oh, we're talking about the ghosts and the good podcast times, investigating whispers from ancient haunted climes, from big footprints to a shadow in the hall. Amazing guests already answering the call, 'cause with Paranormal Paul, a new mystery.
Hey guys, happy Wednesday to you. Krista, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I had the day off today. I got a lot of stuff done. Unfortunately, the only thing I didn't get done was snuggling with the dogs. Too much.
There you go.
I had to play with them outside, but
yeah, that's good. Then you better enjoy it now.
yeah, no kidding. No. Yeah, I don't know if anybody has seen the weather. I was just watching Ron Hall y'all thing earlier. And there's an updated one that I just saw right before we came on. So it looks like the model is going north. So from Missouri down to almost the Gulf, it's going to be a mess.
Yeah.
So, yeah, be safe.
Yep. And for us, I think it's only supposed to be snow, and they said a dry snow. So that's not terrible, you know?
Yeah. But still, it's, it's going to be cold. I saw the temperatures on Saturday and Sunday are like 12 for the high, and like
I know, right?
1 or close to 0 for the low. But
I will be snuggling under my covers. I am not doing anything on Saturday. I'm not going anywhere. Bring it on.
I got to work Saturday and Sunday.
Oh, well, you got a Jeep. You can get out.
Yeah, but if we get 10 inches of snow or whatever on Sunday or Saturday morning or night or Sunday, I ain't going anywhere.
Yeah. And they'll probably end up, honestly, if the roads aren't clear, even if there's just a little bit on the roads, my work cancels. And so Monday I would have a day off with pay. So I'm hoping the roads are still a little So, hey.
They'll be good about closing stuff. So but yeah, I mean, if anybody's in the path of this, make sure you're have generators, extra blankets, just be safe out there. So
have a plan B.
Have a plan B and possibly even a C.
Yep. Get your toilet paper, get your bread, get your milk.
Bread, milk, have French toast.
There you go. But make sure you get your toilet paper, because that's a pretty important thing to have.
One thing I don't miss is not working at a grocery store. That was a mess.
Snow coming and the shelves were empty.
Yep.
Yeah. I'll probably go to the store, I don't know, probably Thursday, and get enough stuff for the weekend, but it won't be like bread and milk.
Yeah.
It'll be real food,
Yeah.
So,
guys, we have a fun show here tonight. Sean Austin is backstage. We'll have him on in just a second. Oddly enough, his YouTube channel is called Sean Austin Paranormal.
That works.
It's interesting how that. Anyway, looking forward to having Sean up here and talking with him. A bunch of awesome stuff over there on his YouTube channel. He does a lot of really cool investigations and stuff. But before we get to that, I want to quick reminder. I announced this last night, starting Friday, February 6th, new morning shows coming out. We're just going to do it on Fridays for now. The morning mix. And maybe I'll talk like this all morning.
There you go. So what is your topics going to be on?
It's going to be just like one of those old radio shows where, we hit just about anything,
There you
no
go.
politics, no religion, not much paranormal. Yeah. It'll be fun stories, sports, weather, entertainment.
Cool.
Fun facts. Fun stuff.
Knowing you, it'll be sports.
There'll be some sports
Lots
in there.
Sports.
So it'll be February 6th. So the Super Bowl is going to be that following weekend. So we'll do a little preview for the Super Bowl. So that'll be kind of
cool.
So, but yeah, looking forward to it. That's something that I've always wanted to do. So we'll give it a shot and see how things go. So
works.
And he just got up. There he is.
There he is.
All right, we are gonna bring Sean up to the screen. Sean, how you doing today, sir? Your microphone's muted.
How you guys doing today?
Good. How
Sean.
are you?
How you doing, buddy?
Good. Just keeping busy.
Yeah. Thank you for spending your Wednesday evening with us. We certainly do appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem.
Awesome. And nice to meet you. And you have some fantastic stuff that you do over on your channel on Sean Austin Paranormal. You go around to all kinds of locations. Do you spend the night in these locations, or do you just go there, investigate? And
I try to avoid sleeping in haunted locations. Being sensitive kind of puts me in a predicament. Only if it's an absolute necessary thing. Because especially if you're filming more than one night, if you're on a trip and you're going to multiple haunted locations, being restless and not being able to sleep, in my opinion, would lower your vibration and make you more susceptible to some of those negative energies to mess with you. Sure. And being sensitive to the level I am, and some of these things are not happy with me. So I really don't want to play that game of Russian roulette in that situation, unless it's something that I was specifically aiming for. I try to avoid it.
Yeah, I understand.
Sleep is important when you're doing this stuff, because if you are being oppressed by a negative spirit, I mean, one of the first things they'll do to you is make you become restless, where you don't sleep, and then you're tired and you're run down, and then what happens next? They can mess with you easier. So
yep, you become a target.
And like Krista always was telling me, if you're not feeling well, if you're not feeling 100%, don't bother going. I mean, you're just a little bit weaker. So don't do that.
Yeah.
So how long have you been doing the investigations and stuff?
Over 16 years now.
16 years.
Oh.
What made you want to do this in the beginning?
I was always interested in the paranormal, ghosts, and horror movies. I was obsessed with horror movies as a child, but I watched all those documentaries growing up, unsolved mysteries, sightings, and all those things during that time period. And not until my late 20s, I was waitering at a restaurant, and some guy's friend of mine is super skeptical and wanted him to have an experience. And it's funny because looking back, I never thought of myself just going to a cemetery and trying to get a piece of evidence, but there I was trying to prove to him. But looking back at that, I think I really wasn't there for him. It was for me. That was my trigger that night, where I had my first experience with my first EVP of a little girl at the graveyard. And then like 3 weeks later, I saw a shadow of a little girl in the corner of my bed. And that's pretty much, that's been the ride ever since. So,
what state are you in, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm currently in Wilmington, North Carolina.
Okay. A lot of haunted places out that way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of haunted locations, but there's not many places where you can actually have an opportunity to do like an overnight investigation. There's many, places that you could, get stories of and stuff, but I'd say the Midwest has so many of those places. There's just a plethora of places where you can, do an actual nighttime investigation. But yes, there's many historical haunted spots all around. You just have to get permission, and a lot more people are more open to it these days than they were 30, 40 years ago. But there's still some people that are a little apprehensive about it. But in my opinion, I think it's a haunted real estate environment out there these days. So, I mean, people need a place to be haunted, and they're looking at it as a business opportunity. So,
Mandy says Ohio is very haunted. We have a place here. It's actually real close to Krista up here in just outside of St. Louis in Marthasville, called Emmaus Asylum. That's got everything you need: paranormal, cryptid, UFO activity, all kinds of stuff, all in one. It's in Marthasville, Missouri, just outside. That's outside of O'Fallon, isn't it, Krista?
Well, it's about an hour outside of St. Louis.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And you can get permission to go investigate there?
I have permission anytime I want to go.
Yeah.
Oh,
we can get you in there.
Check it out.
Yeah. Anytime you're up in the area, let us know. We have that place, and we also have Ray County Museum over on the Kansas City side. So if you're up in the area, hit Paul up, and he'll hit me up.
And there's plenty of hotels around there. I mean, hell, if you want to spend the night in there.
Actually, Emmaus actually has some Airbnbs that are not haunted, and they're across the road.
Yeah.
So, you can always stay in one of those. We've all stayed in them. So
bed and breakfasts that are haunted are not so bad, but when you say like spend the night at haunted places where there's some like really just negative stuff,
Mm-hmm.
like, no.
Yeah.
That's just like, walking into a,
Yep.
pile of chum in the water for the sharks.
Sure. Get it.
Yeah, I mean, we stay, or we do always stay at the Ray County Museum, but in Kathy's apartment there, it's not haunted. Well, there's a ghost of somebody there, but it's not bad. But yeah, the rest of the museum can get kind of wonky, but it certainly is a great place to visit out there near Kansas City. So what are some of your really interesting places that you've been to? I see you have the Amityville Horror House back there. I think I thought I saw something else on your channel. I can't remember. The Conjuring. We at the Conjuring House.
I was there back in January 2020. I was also at the place where they filmed the movie, which is not the real house, but there is reports of paranormal activity there. And I did sessions there, and I got references to the movie. And because there were stories around the set that it was cursed, and I had things talking about it. So it was kind of interesting to go there. It's like 30 minutes away from where I live here. So.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's convenient.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
What do you think about because I've heard that too, about the Conjuring set and all of that, about it being cursed, and you hear of like Poltergeist movie, that's supposed to have been cursed. And, there's been other ones, Exorcist, they say that one was. What are your thoughts on that?
I think my opinion is acknowledgement is one of the most profound elements in the paranormal. And when you're acknowledging infamous cases of a paranormal event that's legitimate, like The Exorcist, that was obviously a boy, but those, that was based on that story. They just changed it to a female and they went from there. So I think the same thing goes for The Conjuring, is you're referencing a very big case and very big things that happen, or like Amityville, like I have personal experiences with that. And like, when you start talking about it, it's like weird things start happening. It's it's acknowledgement. It's just like the same principle when you leave the home of a family trying to help them, and you're hoping that it's gone. And what do you tell them? Don't pay attention to every little sound, because if you become obsessed with that, that's like throwing out, bait to the sharks too. It's like you're trying to, that's what these things look for acknowledgement, to give them energy, to make them feel like they're alive. And most of them are human spirits, or, wanting to feel like they're human again in the physical world. But yeah, in an overall spectrum, I think it comes down to acknowledgement and acknowledging infamous cases of paranormal events that have taken place in the past that somehow activate energy behind some of these cases when they're filming them.
Yeah. I agree.
Exorcist House is in St. Louis. Andrew mentioned that. I've driven by there a couple times, and it just looks like a regular run-of-the-mill house. I mean, it doesn't
nice little house in a suburban area.
Yeah, I mean, if you didn't know what it was, you wouldn't think that it was
right by it.
One of the more famous houses around, at least here in St. Louis, maybe, as far as paranormal.
And you know what I find, something that goes on what you just mentioned about giving it acknowledgement. So the Exorcist house is actually owned by a guy who he's an atheist. He doesn't believe in heaven or hell, and he doesn't have paranormal activity there, he says, anyway. And then, other teams, past team that I was with, we did a thing there with Ghost Adventures years ago. And one of the guys was in there, and he was scratched. They had all kinds of stuff that they actually, got footage of and stuff in that house. So, that makes sense what you said about acknowledgement, because he doesn't. And I think that's why.
Also, I mean, another factor at play, I do believe that some people are kind of energy killers. It's kind of the same saying when you go into an investigation, a group of people, and then one person kind of just like knocks down the level of activity that goes on. I think individuals and their energy, for whatever that reason is, we can only theorize, but I think that could actually come into play too. But also there could be a deniability too. I mean, anyone that's an atheist is going to rationalize to the fullest extent anything that could be related to unexplained phenomenon going on as well. So there's a bunch of different reasons and factors that play here, but obviously we can only speculate because he's just going to tell you nothing's happening.
Sure.
It's like the same thing as the Amityville house. I mean, people live in that house. I mean, but I know that there's stuff still in that house because I've experienced it right outside the house. That's what that documentary is about behind me. Mm-hmm. So, it's interesting, but acknowledgement for sure. I mean, it's kind of like when people say, "Oh, I run through a cemetery all the time. I never experienced anything." But I'm just like, it's not just like you're going to experience something if you just run through a cemetery. But if you stop and say out loud, "Can you come talk to me?" and you actually try to engage these spirits, that's a different ball game. Rather than just having a chance of something happening randomly while you're running through a cemetery. So it's the same principle right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Speaking of cemeteries, while we're on the subject, do you do a lot of cemetery investigations?
I have in the past. I have definitely gone to cemeteries many times over the years. Some people don't believe that a lot of activity happens in the cemetery. And I can tell you that I disagree 100 million%. I've had some of the more profound, crazy stuff happen at cemeteries. But I mean, right now I'm just trying to go around and, film, stories, content. And of course, if legitimate cases come up where I can help a family and document it and present it and then, convey the message of how I do it and really, intertwine my spirituality into how I present my investigations, showing the positive impact of things, because myself being a medium and the demonology aspect, I think it brings like a uniqueness that you don't see that often when people are making videos themselves. I'm trying to do it from a very deep spiritual perspective. But, going around and bringing spiritual awareness and telling a good story and making a difference and, with my faith and how I approach the paranormal and letting people witness that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's really interesting watching some of your videos, how you start out each investigation. You do your walkthrough, and that's when you get a lot of the information. You don't know, going into these things, you don't know anything about the location or very little, right?
I don't want to know anything. If you're legitimate, someone with discernment and sensitivity to the spirit world, you don't want your rational mind to fill in the blanks. Once you know information, you're not going to be able to know where that information is coming from, whether it's from first person or a third person telepathic, energetic response that you're picking up on like an antenna. So that's how I can train myself. And I'm walking through a spiritual gym. It's something that I'm doing now a lot more, which is, in my opinion, the last few years, I feel like it's really helped develop my abilities even more so than they ever have, where I'm really getting down into intricate details. Even this video that I'm premiering tomorrow on my YouTube channel, that I'm just like, I'm listening, like watching myself say some of this stuff. I'm like, damn, like it's really getting really specific with some of this stuff. And I'm like taken back by it myself. But I think that's from actually really using my gift, because I've done a lot of live streaming over the years, and it can be very distracting when you have chats and you're paying attention to all that stuff, rather than kind of honing in on my abilities and trying to, hone in on the investigation when you have like 3 different chats going on all over the place. And I realized, I'm like, okay, if I'm going to film it and I'm still live streaming, let me film the walkthrough on its own. So this way it's not contaminated and I can really figure out what I can tap into without being distracted by all that.
Yeah.
And I really feel like I've developed it very, very much so in the last few years, especially.
Yeah. So can you go back? When did you realize that you were a medium?
It was strangely enough, it was in the first year of me investigating the paranormal. It was like, as soon as I engaged the paranormal, it was like, boom, like the first night at cemetery, shadow a little girl at the corner of my bed. And it was like, boom, I started having dreams, premonitions. And I was actually petrified because I became obviously obsessed with the paranormal. I wanted to read about the paranormal, and I started reading books. My first book was, the Demonologist, the Warrens, and, John Zaffis's Shadows of the Dark, and then Ralph's book, Where the Night, which I ended up mentoring with him, from him. And, it's just, I thought reading about demons and demonology, I was a little scared because they were saying, well, demons can make you think that you're psychic, because I'm thinking to myself, why is this happening to me so prevalently in the middle of my life? Because I mean, when I would think someone has psychic abilities, it would be so pronounced at an impressionable stage when they're a child. I'm like, why? It was freaking me out. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just, why is this happening to me so quickly? But there were signs when I was younger, you know, little omens and stuff, but it wasn't like something that was, oh yeah, I talk to like spirits, I can hear dead people. It was like not until I investigated the paranormal, it was like the floodgates open.
Wow.
And so it's only been developing my ability since I've been starting with the paranormal. It was there. I would have dreams of people's faces when I was younger and question it myself. I'm like, can I, like, my imagination make up people's faces? I thought about it. These were conversations I had with myself when I was way younger.
Yeah.
There were definitely signs in the past, but it wasn't anything noticeable until, I mean, but I did, you know, when I was a child, I was 3 years old, 2 to 3 years old. My mom would tell me I'd lay in the bathtub and tell her I remember being in her womb and being in space and all these weird conversations that she was taken back by. Like I said, there were some weird things along the way that, like, when I wrote my first book, that I was like, okay, there are definitely some signs. But I mean, I've definitely learned a lot up until this present day since the beginning.
Absolutely. I believe. Oh, sorry.
When you first started developing or first figuring out about your mediumship, did you find it hard to kind of turn that off from your everyday life and you know, just, you know, go in the grocery store and, oh look, there's George? Or
no, when the gates opened and I started hearing words all day from spirits, I was definitely in that moment feeling like I was in the Matrix, where I'm just like, what did I get myself into? You want the blue pill, the red pill, and it's like, oh crap, what did I get myself into? It felt a little overwhelming. I'm like, oh gosh, I hope I'm not going to go crazy. But there was so much evidence of things that were legitimate that I wasn't going to sit there and say, oh, I'm going crazy, because I hear people's names before they call me and just premonitions that would come true and all this stuff. So I kind of was just embracing it and taking it day by day. But it's definitely overwhelming, and I don't think some people would be able to handle even close proximity to some of the stuff I've dealt with. So it's not for everyone, but I guess, you know, it comes to my individual calling and my involvement with what I do and how I do things in the paranormal. So I've just been following that lead and trying to make a difference as long as I can.
You know, I believe too, you know, that most everybody is like born with some sort of abilities, but it's not until I believe that you're ready to accept it and embrace it. You know, for you, example, you know, your first haunted location, you had your abilities. So I feel like, you know, maybe God knew you weren't ready before then, you know.
Well, I mean, there's no conception of time in the spirit realm. Time's linear. So I'm sure God that knew exactly when it was going to happen. Interesting enough, I tell this story all the time. 3 years before I got into the paranormal, a girlfriend of mine was coming to hang out at the house. There was roommates at my house. And she never told me this story until 3 years later, when I started posting stuff about the paranormal. When she knew that I would have thought she wasn't crazy, she decided to tell me that one night she came to hang out. She saw a black hooded thing looking in my window and turned its head, had black eyes, and disappeared. It was the most terrifying thing she ever saw before.
Wow.
And, you know, looking back at that, it's like, I believe that these dark things were watching me before what I like to call involve myself into the spiritual rules of engagement, when I actually opened up and, again, acknowledged, quote unquote, to the spirit realm. And then that's when these things could actually have more permission to interact with me. And that's when all of this stuff, you know, started circling me. And they knew that I was going to be involved in this stuff. I think they were watching me.
And they're patient.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
They will absolutely wait for you. Yeah.
Wow.
I studied demonology as well. And there's just so much to it that I learned. And had I studied that before I actually jumped into the paranormal, I'm not so sure I would have. But there are certain cases I probably wouldn't have attended, you know, if I knew what I was dealing with then. You know, I opened myself up. I had no idea how to protect myself before that, you know. It just there's a lot to it. And you know, when people say, oh, I want to go ghost hunting, well, you know, it's not what you see on TV. And are you sure, you know, because you don't know what you could be encountering, you know.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I like, you know, your show, Ghost Sisters, other shows that do these investigations and put them on YouTube. Whereas this things that are on TV, and I say things that are on TV, they're just so overreactive, and you guys are just, you know, oh, did you hear that? I heard this name. I heard this sound. It just seems more natural coming from you guys.
Well, I mean, I've obviously been on some TV shows throughout the years and
Right.
looking for those opportunities in one aspect, but the other aspect is that, you know, you roll the dice with those opportunities because you have no control over those situations. And I definitely had some moments where I was very petrified of, you know, losing the little reputation I have because, you know, again, you're in these shows and they're going to make you be perceived however they want you to be perceived.
Right.
And you just kind of sit there and just, you want to throw up, you know, when you see, you know, some of the stuff that happens. And I'm like, oh God. But that's what I really love about, you know, I've been learning about filming myself and doing this stuff because I have artistic control. I get to entrench my spirituality there. I don't have to, you know, I don't have to worry about someone hovering over me telling me, well, we're not doing that. We're not doing this. And it's like your own little TV network.
Yeah.
And, you know, obviously the TV world's different now. There's not many TV shows. All these companies are merging because of technology and streaming and stuff like that. They don't even know what they're doing. They don't take risks anymore. They're not going to throw, you know, shit at the wall and hoping it sticks anymore. It's kind of like to be a guarantee before they even take on TV shows. So those opportunities that a lot of us had in the community are, you know, far in between now. So, I mean, I love the fact that I can go and film something and tell a story and do it the way that I feel I should do it. And again, I mean, if you see my videos, I try to like really engulf my videos with my spirituality. It's not just like I'm going into a scary place and, you know, this is crazy evidence. Like I'm talking about like really deep spiritual stuff within, you know, the settings of these videos, which is important to me because I want people to make a difference with that and show them, you know, again, because obviously I'm Catholic spiritual and, you know, I want people to see the power of prayer and faith in what I do. And I try to help spirits wherever I go. And it's another reason why I believe I have a lot of activity that happens around me because, you know, it's something that I believe a guide or an angel says to me now. It started like 4, 5, 6 months ago. I don't even know. He started saying to me in my walkthroughs, restore the balance. And intuitively, I feel like they're referencing of helping a soul transition into the light, assist them somehow. And that will change and balance out the energy and the environment where all these souls are somehow. That's what they're telling me. And it feels like that's what I'm supposed to be doing. It's kind of been like this journey of specificity to the characteristics of what my involvement is supposed to be. It's not just helping people and families in their homes. It's these earthbound souls that are trapped in everywhere I go. They beg for prayer. And they ask for help. And if you see my videos, you can see it over and over again. And you can see it on the video I'm premiering tomorrow. It's pretty crazy. So, yeah.
Do you do a lot of like private home cases?
Whenever they pop up, that's genuine. You know, obviously these days you got to be careful. You know, like I said, 30 years ago, people would be afraid to tell you that their house is haunted. Now they want their house to be haunted. That's their claim to fame.
Right.
So it's a little harder to decipher and figure out that. But I've had a bunch of residential cases, you know, on and off throughout the last year. I've had a few that canceled. I might have another one or two. I mean, they pop up, and whatever I'm meant to be a part of, then it'll happen.
Absolutely.
But, you know, I kind of treat this whole thing with doing my research investigations of these properties almost kind of like a residential, and the fact of like, I want to help some of these spirits too. I'm meant to. They're telling me I'm supposed to. I mean, like these spirits come to me before I go to locations. They're like, I've been waiting for you. It's pretty wild.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's happened many times before. They'll come to me before I go. Oh yeah, definitely.
They know when you're coming.
Wow. I mean, is that how you pick locations, or do you have the location in mind, then they come to you?
I mean, I'll look around for places that are new. I mean, I want to go to places that are, you know, people always ask me all the time, what's your favorite location to go? And like, my answer is I love going to a brand new place because I don't know what I'm going to experience. I don't know what I'm going to encounter. And maybe I'm meant to be a part of that. Yeah, it's just weird like that. And I've had weird, you know, circumstances just like that where something last minute, something connects, a synchronicity or something where I'm just like, I have to go. I have to go to this place. There's a sign that they're telling me. And I pay attention to these signs. I mean, that's my life. is the spiritual side of things. I mean, I call them spiritual billboards, but once you're open to it, the signs are everywhere. If you're paying attention enough, they're there. And they're trying to guide you to what you're supposed to do and accomplish the mission that you're potentially able to, overcome for this life, this soul life that we're supposed to live here. So, I mean, time is of the essence. And so I feel like I have more to do. So I'm just holding on to that and trying to be guided to do what's right and keep pushing.
Yeah. Can you talk about like one of your scariest cases? Like you were like, oh,
I swear we share a brain sometimes.
Kristen. I know, right? I
always think of that.
Well, I mean, I talk about a lot with this girl. We did a documentary wrote about my second book. There's a girl that unfortunately abused as a child with SA and was bullied in school, and she did dark magic and dripped blood on a pentagram, and she was pregnant later on with her second child, and she started going through actual legitimate possession. It's the only legitimate possession case that I dealt with for me. And it's very petrifying. She's pregnant while she's carving an upside down cross on her pregnant belly with a screwdriver and speaking English backwards to me on the phone. I'd been clawed on my arms 13 times while I was praying for her over the phone. There's so many crazy things that happened with that girl, and things that were coming to me as well. I have some of those recordings, very defining moments I always talk about too. She called me up. She's like, the demons, go inside me. And 23-year-old girl talks like a man. She's like, Sean, she's mine. Right out of the voice. And I started praying and took a crucifix this big, 6 inches, put it up to the phone. Can't see me on the phone. Didn't know what I was doing. Yeah. As soon as I put it up to the phone, she hissed at me. It's experiences like that bring my faith to a whole new level.
Absolutely.
It's not just that you grow up and you say, oh, I'm just following the lead of my parents or something. I mean, it's all about firsthand experience. And I've witnessed many times over the years of things of my religious significance, of things that are evil, reacting negatively to it. Especially actually the video I'm premiering tomorrow. I mean, they knew this guy was pissed. And he was like, I'm like, why is this guy so pissed off at me? And it clearly says, because he's like, they're scared. He's scared you're going to cross this woman over that I feel like he treated horribly in life. And they kept on saying, no prayers, no prayers. I mean, why would that matter if prayers didn't do anything? Why are they using energy to communicate so many times to tell me not to pray? I mean, we got growled at and all sorts of stuff. And, that's the journey. That's the whole thing right there. So,
and I too have dealt with a couple of true demonic cases. And, you have to go in and you can't show fear, because then you end up, open yourself up to becoming a target. And, I tell people like some of the things that I witnessed happen there is nothing I would wish upon anybody or anybody to see or witness. It was awful. It was awful.
It's no joke. And just try to give you a little prelude actually to the video tomorrow is very, very profound to me. I'm actually proud of the video, and it's unique to me. It's a part of my paranormal story, because I wrote about this story in my first book, Shadow Chaser, like 13 years ago. It was the first time I went out of state for Paranormal Investigation to Prospect Place. And the night before I went to this place, I had a very vivid vision. And I talk about it in the video. And what it was the Pope at the time was on a float and was waving his hand coming down the street at night, and there were nobody there. He's waving to nobody. And there was a priest next to me, put his hand on my shoulders, and he said, Sean, that's not the real Pope. I'm like, really? He's like, take a look over there. Next thing you know, there's this stone statue of Satan. And then all of a sudden bursts into this form of this big, huge black horse with red eyes and smoke come out of his nostrils and makes this horsey, snarling voice and scurries off. And I told the people that I was with the next day, because we were at the hotel before we headed that place, about the dream. So when we got there, all throughout the night, we were hearing this name coming through all the time. And someone looked it up, and it's a demon that usually comes in the form of a black horse.
Wow.
And ironic too is that while I was there, I was inexperienced, and someone convinced me to play with the Ouija board, and I got oppressed by that. It came home with me. It's very bad. And I hadn't been to that place in that many years. So it was interesting to go back there. Actually, I went with Mandy after all those years because it was the site of where I ended up playing the Ouija board there, and like the stuff that came through, and like they're talking about the Ouija board, they're talking about that specific demon. I mean, they said they remember me, like, and this time because it was interesting for me because I'm like, I don't even remember anything about that house. It's so many years ago. And now I'm armed with like so much more intuitive sense, like my ability to, but you know, compared to what that was, and so much knowledge that comes from me. So I mean, I did a walkthrough and I came up with a lot of information, and it was very fascinating. It was interesting to return back there and validate once again, like experience that I had some years ago, to return to a place that was very again prevalent at the beginning of my paranormal journey within those first few years.
Yeah. Yep. It's scary stuff, and it's nothing to play with. You know, I always tell people, man, go with somebody who knows what they're doing, and go to a place that somebody can take you that, you know, there's nothing, you know, negative for your first time, because, you know, I feel like it just opens you up to stuff that you can't close.
Well, it's like you walk out your front door, you don't know who you're going to encounter. I mean, you can encounter a good person, a terrible person, evil person, or a nice person. I mean, that's just, you know, life in general. And so, I mean, when it comes to the spiritual side, you know, unfortunately, to their advantage, they're invisible. So when you go to these places, you really don't know what you can encounter. So you always have to be prepared for that. And that's why I would always tell people to read books on people that were pioneers in the field, to, you know, have a deeper understanding of the more extreme cases and situations that can actually happen to you. So you're prepared for that, and not just getting a ticket to go to Great Adventures and think it's just a coaster ride, because it's real stakes at hand. And they can really mess your life up and everyone around you that you care about. So yeah, absolutely.
And they're patient. Once again, they'll wait. You know, it could be 20 years down the road, but they can, if they find a weak spot on you, that's their chance to jump, you know. So I, like you know, I stay prayed up, and, you know, I'm a very spiritual person too. I pray all the time, and keep myself and my family and my pets protected, you know, because they can anytime, as you know. Yeah. 100%. I've done all mine. I don't know if you're familiar with Tony Pickman from the Sally House.
I do know Tony. Yes.
He's the one that I do the bad stuff with. And
I'd like to link up with him again and do something. I don't know if he would ever return back to Sally House, but he's a great guy.
He is.
Very gifted too, man. He's got some crazy stories.
Is that a place that you would go, to Sally House?
I went once, and I actually have a story with that I could tell you too.
Okay. Because I've heard people that won't even drive by that house.
Oh, I'll go back there. There's no place I won't return to. But interesting enough, 3 months before I went to Sally House, I always wanted to go there, but didn't know I was going to be going there. I had a very, once again, vivid dream where this brunette, pale girl was, you know, next to me, and she comes up to me and whispers in my ear, "Did you play with the Ouija board?" And I'm like, "No." And she's like, all of a sudden, like, takes her arm, long sleeve, starts doing this. And then a snake comes out of her like sleeve, and then comes back in my ear and whispers her phone number in my ear. When I woke up, I remembered the area code. It was Atchison, Kansas, where the Sally House was. I'm like, whoa, that's pretty trippy. And then I ended up going there 3 months later.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. And that house, I guarantee you, knew that you were coming.
Oh yeah, and that's just an example of that. Again, I mean,
I did one. I did one. Tony's like another brother to me. Different mothers, but he's the best. And we did one where actually it was just a high school girl there in Atchison was peeking in the windows, and she became oppressed. And that was, you know, one of the cases that, you know, I went with Tony and helped him out. But yeah, it's crazy. It's pretty crazy house for sure.
Oh yeah, I want to return there. I want to do a proper go there. It's a small house, but, you know, I don't know. I want to do a video about there, and, you know, I don't know, maybe do another round with it.
Yeah, it's definitely a scary place.
Do you repeat locations often?
I mean, if an opportunity arises and I'm in the area and I can just, you know, go and investigate, it's not like I would turn it down. Right. Obviously, I love going to new places, and I want to be able to do what I'm doing with these walkthroughs and stuff like that. So that's really what I look for. If I was just going to do that and just keep returning to somewhere I've been so many times, I'd probably just live stream it, you know, and just do an investigation. but I really like doing the storytelling. I have a bunch of videos I need to edit. I just, I think the next one I'm going to do is McPike Mansion. Ever hear about it, Illinois?
Oh yeah,
that's right up by us.
Yeah, it's right across the river. Let us know if you're in town.
Yeah. I was just there like months back and did it by myself. Actually, no, I did with one other guy.
Did you have the whole house to yourself, or?
Yeah, it was just me and one other person.
Because when I was there a couple months ago, just on a little tour of, that was when you were up at what's that park? I can't think of the park. You were out there, and we were out there just touring all
Pierre Marquette.
We stopped by the McPike Mansion. They wouldn't let us in the house. You had to buy tickets, but the caretaker was telling me that you can only do the first floor.
Yeah, I couldn't.
And the white
floor.
Yeah.
But there's a lot more space. I mean, the basement's very big, and like they have the path in the back. So I got some really good evidence. I got some really good stuff there. So that'll be a good video, easy one to do.
Yeah.
I had one because I went to some other crazy hospital in Missouri. Actually, it was ironically, I did the McPike Mansion and then the Pike Hospital in Missouri as well. Man, that was crazy. I did it Hallows Eve and Halloween, and it was freaking bad. There was some really bad in there, dude. Like I was actually taken back by how bad it was. I had to step out of the room because it was trying to like suffocate me, and then I had to yell.
I'm not familiar where that is. Where's that one at? Pike Hospital.
I think it's Louisiana, Missouri.
Oh, that would be north of me. Okay.
Yeah, so that I don't know. It might be a 2-part video, but it was really crazy in there.
Yeah. Well, once again, if you are in the St. Louis area, holler at us. We can take you to quite a few places.
Yeah.
To me. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Definitely get Emmaus there. Get you to Emmaus. That would be an awesome one for you, I think.
Oh, the asylum?
Yeah. Yeah.
And we actually had Bigfoot activity out there. We've had sat and watched one night. I kid you not, there was like 5 of us out there, and we watched 20 different UFOs in the sky going back and forth. It was crazy.
I'm actually going to be doing a video in North Carolina at some point. I'm supposed to do it this weekend, but it's so cold, it's rainy. I don't know if you guys saw the video that went viral with the guy. There's a 911 call where a creature jumped on his truck and like jumped off into the woods. Have you heard about that?
Somebody showed me that. Yeah, I heard that.
You should watch the video because it's legitimate. Like the sheriff said, it was a legitimate call. The guy was driving down the highway, saw some guy on the side of the road. I don't know if he was wearing Civil War's clothing, blood on him. And then you can hear something. He's calling about the guy on the side of the road, and then something jumps on the back of his truck. You hear the bang, and this guy is screaming, bloody murder. Like, what the hell is that? He's clawing at his truck and jumps off his truck and goes away. And, you'd think if that guy made up that story, someone interviewed him, and he didn't want to show his face, because if he was making it up, don't you think he'd want to get attention?
Yeah. The guy was yelling in the cab of his truck that it's not human. It's not human.
Yeah. He's like, I don't know what the hell that was. And again, that's only 30 minutes from me. So, and I know another lady 10 miles down the road, I heard had seen the creature as well, and UFO sightings. So I don't know if it's connected, but I want to make a video about it and maybe do some sessions over there, which I plan to do at some point.
So speaking of, you mentioned connected. What do you think about all this stuff? Paranormal, cryptid, UFOs. They say you see the orbs, see the Bigfoot, see the UFOs. You think all this stuff is connected somehow?
Well, I do have a theory of what Bigfoot is, even though I've never Bigfoot hunted or actually seen one. I do believe it is a prehistoric man-like creature that once lived, and it is a spiritual being, just like a ghost, because all the characteristics to its manifestations, wood knocking, footsteps, foul smells, rock throwing, all this stuff, ghosts have done too, would also explain why this thing is so elusive and no one's actually captured this thing. To me, it seems like something of another time period, and it acts very animalistic to most people's experiences too. Because I know people believe that it might go in and out of a portal, but I mean, if it's that smart, why is it acting like a wild animal? So I don't know. That's my theory behind it. I don't know. I've never doused in the Bigfoot stuff. I'm interested. Obviously, all the unexplained is fascinating to me, but I think that it all could be connected for sure. I mean, if that's a spiritual being, then that's definitely connected to the paranormal with the ghosts and stuff. UFOs. I mean, I've seen some stuff in the sky over the years too. I mean, you just don't know. The universe is kind of a big place, so I don't know.
Yeah. My thing is, I've done the paranormal for so many years, and it used to give me that adrenaline rush, and I don't get that anymore. So I kind of got bored with doing the paranormal, which I'll still do it, but my thing is now I love to go to the woods. Bigfoot, Dogman, all about it.
Yeah, I mean, the woods, I'm actually going to do a little investigation after I get off this podcast right down the street from where I live. It's very haunted over there. It's a battleground, but I've had creepy stuff happen over there. I like going to the forest because there's just so much history, and like you don't know what you're going to encounter. And all my experiences too, when you go to these places with portals, I mean, you get energies and entities that will come from other locations and come through these doorways. And the spirits will tell you, oh, it's coming. It came from the portal all the time, especially some of these dark things. Because I've definitely made a lot of enemies in some dark places, unfortunately.
It's funny how they don't forget you, because even Ray County Museum he was just a nasty spirit. He was human in form, but he was just a jerk. And, I wasn't scared of him, and I called him out a couple times. He abused women and children back in his day. And he actually jumped me. He choked me, and I got out of the building. But he is one that Tony Pickman was there, and he actually jumped into Tony and came after me. And it took 4 adult men to get Tony off of me. And if you've met Tony, he's not a very big guy.
No. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It was pretty crazy. Yeah. I watched his eyes go black.
Jeez.
So some places, it just, you just never know. They don't forget you, and then I've been told that guy's back. So, it kind of makes me a little nervous about sleeping at the Ray County Museum, as you were talking about sleeping in some of these places,
I just heard a woman laugh on the audio. Did you hear that?
7:30. I did not. I had a couple. We've had Krista on her show, me on mine, a couple others. We've had weird things happen. Last night I heard some weird sounds. Ironically enough, it was.
Break the time down and we can go back and listen.
Yep. 47:30.
Because you were talking, and obviously you're only female to the podcast, and I heard it was like something like that.
And she wasn't laughing.
No, she was talking straight up. Talking.
Wow. Yeah. Interesting. Got a quick question here from Bigfoot Fades. Are investigations for haunted locations usually better after dark?
Yes. I mean, you can get activity during the day, but in a lot of cases, I've had spirits that don't like the light. They emanate from the darkness. I don't know what it is. I don't know the reason behind it. But I also think that there's a scientific reason behind it as well. When I first started investigating in the paranormal, I wanted to know why one night I would go to a place and activity would be so rampant, and another night I go back there and it's like you hear crickets. And I did research, and they were saying paranormal researchers believe that in certain moon nights, that phases, activity will, arise more so than other days. So they were talking about 3 days before and after a new moon. So I'd look at a moon calendar and try to investigate on those nights and see, and there was more activity on those nights. And if you think about it, many of us believe water is a conduit to paranormal energy. And what does the moon do to the tides? And it makes the tide go in and come out. So I think that there's an answer there with some of that connectivity, what you're talking about there, maybe why the night is more active when the moon is most prominent, and then the water, the movement of the water might be giving some more energy as well. Then we talk about all the limestone and the water and all these things. I think there's definitely an answer somewhere amidst that.
Yeah.
You mentioned battlefields, that you're going to Battlefield tonight, I guess you said. Have you do many battlefields?
I've been to Gettysburg so many times. I've been to a handful of battlefields around here. Been to one in Tennessee and North Carolina. I've been to a handful. Yeah.
You get the cannon fire and the guys yelling?
Actually, I've got it right down the street. Pop, 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 pop on EVP.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very clear voice on EVP. Very clear stuff. Actually,
places to investigate. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, with all the emotional turmoil for sure.
I used to do Civil War reenacting, and so I slept on a lot of battlefields. And there was one of them that we could hear horses running, but there wasn't any horses out, So that was really cool.
I was just at this place in Southport, North Carolina, and it's an old museum with a lot of soldier artifacts and things of that nature, and it was very active. We had a lot of EVPs, and I had a really great piece of evidence validating my app. I don't know if you guys know about my app that I created.
I heard about it. I haven't checked it out yet.
Okay, so anyways, so all of a sudden my app says, SPI says lights out. So I'm like, and the lights were on in the room, and I had the millimeter on the ground, and I'm just like, would you like the lights out in the room? And then the millimeter starts going crazy on the REM antenna. So I was recording an EVP at this moment, and then right before you hear lights out on the app, you hear a man say, I want the lights out. And then that all happens in succession, and it was really crazy. I have to make a clip out of that. But yeah, I'd be glad to show you, tell you how that works too.
Yeah, tell us about your app that you got, because I was interested when Mandy was telling me about it, and I just didn't get around to looking at it yet.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people are super skeptical about apps, but number one, even the apps, in some cases, I do believe that the spirits can manipulate those things and communicate in some manner. I mean, if you don't believe that spirits can manipulate things that are electrical, you might be in the wrong business. So, I mean, these things, but it's very limited to what it can able to do, because it's limited to a vocabulary list. So it can only say the words that are in that list, and then becomes a lot more potential for repetitive stuff that'll come through, right? So I came up with an idea 10 years ago. I was interested in EVPs. I wanted to know how EVPs happen because I was capturing them. And I looked up that there was research done with audio forensic analysis looking at a piece of audio with alleged EVPs on it. And he agreed that there was a voice on a piece of audio, but the frequency behind the voice was scientifically impossible to be a human voice. So I thought, with this idea that I had for many years and finally been able to implement in the last year, what if there was a text-to-speech, software that we trick the text-to-speech like you do in the text, where it's only listening for voices in the audio and the environment that are either, anywhere outside of our human speech frequencies, and only disseminate those words and then spit those words out. And so that's basically how that works in the SAM mode, specifically in the app. And that gives it the ability to say anything it wants to say, not just a word that's in a vocabulary list. And it'll say words that we end up having to look up, whether it's a strange demon name or a strange word. And I love that, because that gives more value to the research and broadens the horizons of the information. As you're doing investigation, wherever you're doing it. I have some really cool new features that are coming soon in the coming weeks, as well as it'll be coming to Android. But I've been really getting some great stuff with it lately.
Very cool. I look forward to it. Yeah.
And you get that at the App Store?
It's on iOS right now, and it'll be coming to Android very soon. Very soon. It's getting very close.
And you said it's SPI?
Yeah, stands for Spirit Phone Innovations. A little homage to Thomas Edison, who allegedly had a spirit telephone too. That's why I called it that. So,
okay, yeah, go check that out.
Yeah, the SAM mode, I leave it on during all my investigations. If you click SAM, just press the button, and if you minimize it, it'll still be listening and give you notifications of words, sentences that it hears.
That's cool. Well. Yeah. Besides that, do you use any other equipment?
I use a lot of Gary Galka's stuff. I'm actually pretty friendly with Gary. I love the SB7 Pro with the APF processor, where I'm able to rewind and analyze the responses that come through the spirit box. And get rid of some of the white noise. And I love EVPs. I just love the ITC in general. Being as sensitive like myself and having medium abilities, I want to get validated with things that I'm picking up. And I just want to straight up get the information. Who am I talking to? What's here? And let's get the ball rolling. Obviously, the dings and the bells and things like that are cool. But for me, ITC is where it's at.
Yeah. I was watching the video that you did on, I can't remember the name of that lake, a recent one that Lake you just did. Yeah. And that was pretty fascinating. You had the guy, the normal tour guy that does the boat rides out there and investigates and stuff. And he was pretty much validating a lot of what you were saying.
Yeah,
it was coming to you.
He was freaked out. because he had said I said I don't want to know anything, and I was like, he's like, there's no way he could have known because he took me to some places in the dark, like places even during the night. Like, there's no way I could have figured out where we were being taken to, and to come up with that information.
Sure.
At those certain specific places at the time. Yeah, he was definitely impressed, and that's why I put it in the trailer too, because I thought it was funny because we got to investigate an island in the middle of the lake at night after we did a whole psychic walkthrough of the lake and filming that. And then all these voices that came through, like, he was so blown away, and he's done ghost tours there and done this before. And he's like, I've never seen anything like this before. And we were driving back in the boat, and that's where I have at the end of the trailer. He's like, you really burst my bubble with the paranormal. Like, I was a little skeptical. I'm open to it, but I don't know whether to thank you or not invite you back again.
That's awesome.
He's like, so now he's like telling the story about what happened that day to all of his new boat riders. I was actually considering maybe do like a public event where people can come, because he's got a big boat, like a 2-story boat. It might be cool to take people out on the lake and go to an island in the middle of the lake and do some sessions.
Very cool.
Ooh, yeah.
I bet that would do well, honestly.
Yeah. Sign me up.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
Yeah. Very cool. What is one of your favorite locations to go to?
What I like to return to, you mean? Gosh.
Or one that you've been to that you just blew your mind, the activity that you got that you didn't expect.
I thought about Whispers Estate. I remember it was a place that I was taken back by. There was a lot of weird stuff in that place.
I've heard that. I've never been there though.
It was very weird in there. It's very, very weird. I mean, I would probably say asylums are the most haunted places you can go to. Like those types of places.
Yeah.
I'd say that's where you get most of the activity, is a place like that. I mean, like I said before, like, people ask me all the time, like, I love going to new places. Like, I love being able to tap in and go to a place where I don't know what's going to happen, rather than going back to a place that I've been to a dozen times. Like, it's cool to go back there and see what's going to come through. But, I love the unknown. Figure. I mean, I like going to places where I just don't know what's going to happen, rather than having an idea what to expect.
Sure. Absolutely. I'm with you. That's why I think I like private cases, because, they're all new. So you don't know what, the ghosts don't know what different meters are or whatever, It's,
sure. Yeah, of course.
That's why I like doing them.
Yeah. I actually might have a private case coming up. My wife's, somebody she works with lives real close to us, and she says her house has been haunted. So I said, hey, want me to go over and take a look at it? And the place that I work is haunted too, I believe. So people have heard things in the basement. Actually, a kid drowned in the basement. There was a swimming pool before it was a meat market, and somebody drowned down there. So.
And didn't they do some Ouija boards and stuff down there at your work basement?
Yep.
That's what I thought.
Yep. Thank you, Bigfoot. Fades. Appreciate you.
What are your thoughts, Sean, on Ouija boards?
Well, I mean, I've definitely regretted playing the Ouija board in this video I'm premiering tomorrow on my YouTube. I would never advise anyone to mess with the Ouija board. I know people use it all the time, and they're like, I'm okay. I mean, that's on you. I mean, I had an experience. To me, I feel like that's playing Russian roulette, playing with that thing. I read books on this stuff. 95% of true demonic infestations and oppressions happen with people playing with the Ouija board. It's not from a spirit box. Is there a danger element to any involvement in the paranormal? Yes, but my opinion, because some people argue, like, what's the difference between a spirit box and a Ouija board? And my answer to that, and my theory behind that, is that you're putting your hand on an inanimate object to open up the doorway with something. Right. You're allowing that spirit to move with you. And to me, that's inadvertent permission to allow it to potentially channel through you. And that's where I feel like the danger really lies, rather than just having a spirit box on the table and say, talk to me.
Yeah.
If there was a Ouija board on the table where you didn't have to touch it, where it was just all, EMF buttons, You can tell them to type it out for you. I don't think it would be bad at all. But I mean, when you're trying to combine your energy, because we underestimate our power, your intention, it's another profound element of the paranormal intention. Your intention is very profound. So it doesn't have to be the Ouija board in the toy store. It could be a paper towel with numbers and letters on it in a pint glass. It's you. It's you that has the energy that can do that stuff in your intention. So, I feel like that's where the thin line comes with people. And again, like you said, too, I mean, just because you play the Ouija board tonight, tomorrow, and next week and nothing happens, it doesn't have to happen today, tomorrow, next month, and next year. It's going to happen on their time, not yours. I've done a case with a family I was just talking about the other day. Did a case with a family where I went to their home. It was in Virginia. And I was in their basement, and I saw a vision of a lady waving her hands in a white dress saying, "They took my babies." And I had the spirit box on. It said Ouija board. I told them about it. They turned white, and they told me like 20 years before or something like that, 15, 20 years ago, and they're in high school. They went to Lover's Lane to make out, and they saw a lady come to the car in a white dress and disappeared, saying they took my babies. And right before that, they had played with a Ouija board. They never been involved in the paranormal or nothing. Their 8 to 10-year-old boy was experiencing a shadow figure with red glowing eyes telling him to cut himself in the bedroom. So it's like, there you go. I mean, years and years later, they don't want you to have any idea that has anything to do with the paranormal. So they're going to stretch that out very patiently, just like you said, until it's blacked out on the calendar and say, I'm going to get the most energy and opportunity to cause as much chaos and victimizing to the person that they have permission to do that to. And then it becomes everyone around them that person cares about. So that's the dangerous element. I learned my experience with that. I would never mess with one.
Yeah.
Yep. I remember when I was a little kid, my grandma was in a nursing home, and they had a Ouija board there. And I remember me and a couple of my cousins were using it. And I don't know if anything ever came through. I can't remember, but that was my only experience with a Ouija board. And now knowing what I know, I wouldn't touch it either. No,
my sister would try to get a Ouija board all the time. A few times my mom threw it out in the garbage. One night some friends brought over a Ouija board for my sister, and I watched them play it. He's a young kid. And I told my sister that 2 of her close friends were going to die next year. And her best friend died in a car crash at 16 years old, and her prom date unalived with a rope. So,
oh my God.
Obviously something telling you really horrible things that are going to happen. I don't think that was something really good. They're going to tell you something to bring and induce fear within that person. And that invitation, I mean, you just don't know.
Yeah.
That's twice tonight you gave me chills.
I mean, I got plenty of chills stories, man, more than 10 lifetimes.
Wow. I want to talk about, and somebody mentioned this in chat, and I didn't realize this. Let's talk about Annabelle. You've had some experience with Annabelle?
I did.
Yeah.
Yes. I know there's a lot of people who are skeptical about the Annabelle doll. There's a lot of people skeptical about Amityville. Oh, it's all a hoax. But I went there first, and I've seen this stuff up close and personal. So just because you're on the outside and you look at it and say the doll is silly, it's nothing, oh, it's fake, oh, it's not real, that doesn't make it not real. That's just as bad as someone else being cynical and saying, oh, ghosts aren't real. But you can't prove ghosts aren't real as much as we can't prove ghosts are real. So we're kind of caught in the middle here. So yeah, no, I did have an experience. I went to an event where they brought the doll down the street from the Warrens because they couldn't do the event there anymore. And I was live streaming, and Annabelle doll was in the case, and God rest his soul, Dan was there, and it's friends with Dan. And we noticed that the lock that holds the door to Annabelle came unloose. And we're like, I was like, are you serious? Is that really? I'm like, that's too good to be true. Is that really happening right now? Right. And he told everybody and this and that. I didn't think anything of it. And then I ended up in Gettysburg. I'm sorry. The next night I was in my bedroom, and I had a nightmare vision of a young girl in a white dress with black eyes and fangs, and jumped at me and grabbed my neck trying to choke me, and woke up with the chills 3:00 in the morning. And again, that could have came from anywhere, right? I've been to so many haunted locations. That could have been from literally anywhere. So I ended up in Gettysburg like a day or two later, and I'm in the battlefield, and I'm filming this too. And all of a sudden through the spirit box, it goes in a row. It says Annabelle Nightmare upstairs. And at the time I was sleeping in the upstairs apartment. It was a 2-family home. And that to me, I'm like, oh my God, that thing from that night was from Annabelle. potentially. So I went back on the video and I captured a young little girl's voice say, "See in your bedroom," and there's a growl.
Wow.
I told Dan about that, and he said that's really strange because that same exact night, Annabelle was brought back to the Warren Occult Museum. That the St. Michael latch that holds the latch closed flew across the museum. So with all those things happening, connecting, I was like, yeah, there's just no way. There's just no way.
Wow. Yeah, that's scary stuff.
Have you gone down to the Florida Keys and seen I can't remember
Robert
the Doll?
You know, all I need is an excuse to go to a nice tropical place. I always say, like, where's my haunted jacuzzi, right? I'm like,
yeah, no kidding.
But I'm freezing cold out, and I'm like, I really want to go to some freezing cold place with no heat. I'm like, I need a haunted heated pool or something.
Yeah. Although it sounds like they're going to be getting some cold weather down there in the next few days, so maybe
I know, unfortunately,
wait a week or so.
In my mess this week. I'll just start working on another video. Screw it. So
yeah, there you go. There you go. How many videos do you have lined up that you need to get out?
I think I have like 12, 13, something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, I have a bunch.
Wow. What's your normal turnaround? I mean,
it's very time consuming.
Yeah.
I'd say like it's like a work week. To be honest with you, it's like 30 plus hours.
Wow.
For sure. It's like a 3 to 4 day thing.
Well,
like,
that makes sense. You can't really at all, fast forward through scenes. I mean, you have to listen carefully
over
everything. Yeah.
You're listening to audio, EVPs, you're removing noise, you're putting it on repeat over and over again. And if you have to stop and make a segment and do a voiceover, it's very time consuming, but it's also rewarding. I'm really proud about the one I did. Like I said, tomorrow, it's another one that really stands out to me. I like it. I like filming. I like putting stuff together. It kind of tickles my artistic side. I mean, I'm a singer-songwriter and a musician at heart way long before I was a paranormal. I also have recorded some new songs. I'm going to be releasing a new album this new year, hopefully a music video in the coming month or so.
The video is going to take place at a haunted location.
Maybe we'll see. But I like choosing the music. I'm very particular with music because I feel like music can either amplify a scene or take away, or it sounds cheesy. Like, I can't stand it. It has to really stand out to make the moment. And so I really like that. I like looking at the whole thing as a whole and then saying this is really good. Getting excited. I really get excited too, discovering evidence that you didn't realize you captured. That's really exciting when you're going over and it takes forever. And all of a sudden you're like, holy crap, did that just really happen? Did I capture that? Oh my God. You just sit there like looking at the laptop like, holy, like, damn.
I remember my first investigation. It was at Ashmore Estates, and we were down in the boiler room, and I'm filming away. Me and Chris's friend, God rest her soul.
She just passed away. Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't think anything of it. Dead bell went off a couple times. We left. I'm playing it back at home, and I hear, "We're watching." Plain as day. Didn't hear it with our own ears, but we heard it on the video, and that just blew my mind that something like that can happen, like that. It's keep coming back.
It's funny they say that all the time on my investigation, like, "Oh, he's watching. We're watching." It happens. They say it all the time. It might be. That'd be a really good Family Feud episodes for paranormal investigators. Like, what top things ghosts said? I'd probably say like number one would be like, "Get out."
Get out. Yeah, I was just thinking of that.
But what would be like that actually could be a funny thing. Actually,
we're watching. Get out. No.
I might have to make a meme of that. I might have to make a meme.
Help me.
Help me.
Yeah, help me. Yeah. I'd say Get Out's number one. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The things they say all the time. Get out. Leave. It's like, oh my God. Yeah. It's pretty funny.
Okay. Yeah, we'll have to send that to whoever does that. That'd be awesome. Okay. Andrew says that you had a huge rock getting tossed down the hallway at Letchworth.
Oh yeah, well that place is super haunted. I used to go there years ago. I used to live stream on Periscope. That was the first live streaming platform there was. Letchworth is so haunted. I wrote about that in my book, did a documentary about it. I mean, I've had rocks thrown, furniture flown around. I mean, doors slamming, footsteps and people getting scratched. I mean, you name it. Like I said, these asylums, man, it's just a festering feeding ground of negative energy.
Yeah.
Because all these people suffered and were mistreated. And then if a place lays dormant and abandoned for all those years, then you have all these people that go and want to do occult rituals and Ouija board stuff in these places and invite even more stuff into these places. So, yeah, I mean, Letchworth is no joke.
Yeah. What's the worst thing that you've had happen to you as far as being scratched or marked or something like that?
I'd say being oppressed by an evil spirit's the worst.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, when I got home from this place that I'm returned to in the video tomorrow, I mean, it was awful. It's no walk in the park to be oppressed by an evil spirit. I literally was waking up 5 a.m. feeling like I was watching my family burn alive. I felt I was being stabbed all over my stomach, and I was being drawn to go to the cemetery by myself. I was sitting there by myself in the dark in the cemetery, smelling rotting flesh and recording EVPs while it's saying hail to this demon and hail to that demon. I woke up in front of my computer and felt burning on top of my feet, and I had blood coming out the top of both of my feet, scratch mark and blood. My sister's like, what the hell is that? Is that the stigmata? I'm like, I don't know. Initials are written on the inside of my windshield of my car. I mean, I was working in the office at the time. Like, I had to put my head out the window. I was driving. I had to drink some beers just to subside the emotional like distress that I was going through. I didn't realize what I was going through until I realized it and did this grounding exercise and visualization of white light. So a red glowing ball fly off my body and out the window, and I felt back to normal. I knew in that moment I was oppressed. I mean, you know, some people might not be able to have a deeper understanding of what they're going through and actually could ultimately, you know, do something dangerous or horrible to themselves or others. So that's why it's the most dangerous element of the paranormal. I mean, I'd say that is the most delicate nature, is how they can amplify your emotions when you're vulnerable to things that can create a reaction within you subconsciously to the point where it makes you suffer, where you may act out on that. And that's it right there.
Yeah. How what do you do in the beginning of an investigation to protect yourself, or even during the investigation?
Well, I mean, my faith is my number one protection. Obviously, I wear a St. Michael pendant that's blessed around my neck at all times. You know, I'll say a protection prayer. I mean, personally, for me, I don't try to say protection prayers before I go into investigation. I mean, that's up to the individual, but if I'm going there for research purposes or for whatever, I'm trying to uncover answers, I don't want to disrupt the environment to the energies there where I might not be able to really get the information I want by doing something like that until it's absolutely necessary. But my faith is always there. It's referenced. It's even referenced in the video tomorrow about my faith and stuff like that. You can't just yell those words out. You can't say in the name of Jesus Christ like you're holding, you know, a physical tool to like protect you. You have to believe. I always say it's like the horror movies. You know, you put a cross up in front of the vampire and they recoil for a moment and they start laughing. And what do they say? You got to have faith. And then the vampire starts coming at you again. It is literally the same exact thing that we're dealing with here. You have to believe. If God told you to walk between two mountains and there's no bridge there to get to that other top of the mountain, you're either going to fall to the bottom of the mountain or you're going to be able to get across to the other side of the mountain. That's true faith. So if you stand in front of an evil spirit and it idealistically knows that you believe that God's more powerful than any devil, demon, or diabolical force that ever was or ever will be, then those things will not be able to do to you what they ultimately want to do to you. They smell it on you. They smell a crack on your aura if you do not have the spiritual protection that you need, if they have the opportunity to break it and get through into you somehow.
Right.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
You mentioned cemeteries, and I have different views about cemeteries than a lot of people. I feel like everything that is at a cemetery, you know, it's always, you know, the feelings, you know, people never go to a cemetery happy, you know, and so there's a lot of residual negativity, you know, sadness, sorrow, depression, all that kind of stuff. So I feel like most of the ghosts at cemeteries are not actually there. I feel like it's something more on the negative side when people, you know, just because I feel like, you know, when we die, you know, even children, you know, there's always somebody to help cross us over. And I believe personally, if, you know, if you didn't have any loved ones, then, you know, Jesus comes. That's just my personal belief. So I feel like at cemeteries, it's more something on the negative side of things. than, just because of all the sadness and the sorrow and the residual that is there. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think you're right in that aspect, but again, anything that we would consider a ghost, I would consider a human soul that once lived, that has not been able to let go of the human life they once lived. Now, all the diversified reasons that people and humans actually die, whether it be murder or tragedies, accidents, or if they're bad people in life, those are the souls that are around. Those are the souls that are going to communicate with you. Now, in my opinion, when you come in close proximity to their vessel, which obviously they haven't been able to let go of that connectivity to that body that's buried there, and if they're still earthbound, I feel like that connection could happen to you when you go to the cemetery, if they weren't offered the opportunity to cross, or maybe they're just, I feel like what happens is that because of the negativity, they lower their vibration. It blinds them from being able to accept the light and actually transition, and they become lost within themselves. And that's why I like to get down to an individual level with these spirits and encourage them to actually go and let God, because I'm not the one that's crossing them over, but I'm trying to encourage them. I'm kind of like the spiritual therapist, literally the medium, to say, look, this, you got to go. This peace is awaiting for you. And then I do a visualization of a spotlight of white light coming down, and I pray that familiar faces, family, loved ones come in the light, so they have all these connectivities happen at once where they go.
Yeah. Awesome.
We got a quick question here. Do ghosts take breaks? For instance, after a loved one dies, I've noticed high paranormal activity, then it dies off after a few months, but then years later, sparks up. Little sparks will flare up.
My answer to that would be that after a loved one actually passes away, they might stick around for a certain amount of time until actually they decide to go, where they've transitioned, and probably why the activity will probably start to decrease because they transitioned. That would be my answer to that. Why? Because if they're earthbound, then you would experience more of the earthbound ghostly types of activity that we would experience. It wouldn't be, grandpa, if grandpa hasn't transitioned, he's not going to be knocking things off your counter. I think a lot of people, I do notice that, like when they have stuff happen or happens, oh, that's probably just grandpa knocking things over. No, it's not. It's some random ghost probably trying to get your attention. I think it happens a lot. People assume it's their loved ones, but probably maybe it's more comforting for them to think that. But I mean, in a lot of those cases, I think they're just random humans. I mean, it's like Patrick Swayze, like, hey, I'm over here knocking something.
Right.
And then kind of to follow up on that one, do you think like loved ones will come back, and when the people who are still alive are in some kind of trouble, if they need some help from like grandpa, or comes back down to help?
Absolutely. I mean, again, there's no conception of time. The spirit world, time's linear. In all of your profound, important moments, your loved ones are with you. You might be in the car, a song comes on, reminds you of your loved one or this, that. My dad's passed away 4 years this past October, and I've had many experiences with my father. As a matter of fact, even this morning, I got up out of my bed and I literally thought I saw one of my old dogs. My old dogs have been around me a lot lately, and I don't know if you saw my social media, but I left the camera while I was sleeping. Some guys like Sean's, his dogs are protecting him, literally while I was sleeping.
Wow.
So, yeah. I'm very lucky and humbled to have experiences with loved ones, but absolutely will they be there for important moments. They know what you're going to have to go through.
Yep.
That is a cool feeling to have them come back. And I mean,
I feel like, be it good or bad, whatever if you're going through trouble, I feel like they're there. And if you're celebrating a happy occasion, I feel like they're there too.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. Have you had experiences with the God's helmet?
I never used that. No. I don't mess with Estes. Again, I have a lot of enemies in dark places, and again, the Estes to me could kind of produce a channeling situation for me, where I don't want to give permission to anything to channel for me, to be honest with you. I don't. I've got a lot of things that would love to get an opportunity to do that, and I'm not playing that game. That is not worth it. Whatever gifts I have, I naturally, organically have them from God, so I'm using them for good. But in a situation like that, I'd be a little bit concerned of the turnout, what could happen in something like that.
Sure.
Do you think that spirits, the more time a spirit is earthbound, the more corrupt they get?
Well, I think you're kind of basing limitations to the human existence. Like they're progressing. At that level, I feel like we can only theorize, but like think about like one moment could be an eternity in one moment. Now, here's something that I could tell you, that I do believe that demonic spirits not only try to possess people, but I feel like they're responsible for some of these souls. I've encountered this. It's like a possessive thing where they want to, make this entity, this person that was evil in life, continuously be the sadistic person that they were in life and make them consume with it. I've seen it happen before. So there could be some sort of seduction or an amplification going on to make them and try to keep them in that state. And that's why I have these evil spirits so pissed off at me, because I'm, in my opinion, taking souls away from the devil by coming in and giving them the opportunity. It's ultimately up to God, by praying for them. And then if these souls that are suffering get an opportunity to go into the light, into heaven, then that pisses the hell out of them. So I do believe that they can be more corrupted and influenced for sure. But that's why, again, even when I go into someone's homes, rather than saying, okay, this place is haunted, I'm just gonna bless this place and set off a, explosion of light into the, and try to displace everything. I would like to first get down on an individual level with the spirits in the home and see who I can actually organically incentivize to accept that light and make that choice and go, before I would actually try to just force everything out, because I think you'd have a better chance of solving the issues if you do that rather than just trying to force everything out, because every soul is unique to their life and their experience and why they're trapped or why they've chosen to stay and be right. They might be afraid of judgment.
Absolutely.
Interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. Yes. So you mentioned a little bit about the video that you have coming out on your channel tomorrow. Can you give us a little bit more of a teaser for it? What where it's going to be? What title of it?
Well, I just posted a trailer all over my social media.
Check out the social media.
The trailers, actually. I have fun making the trailers. It's a little fun kind of making like a minute thing. But yeah, it's, I mean, like I said, it's returning to a haunted location after 13 years. And I was, convinced to play with the Ouija board. I had a very dark experience there, and I was oppressed by an evil spirit after I went home. And I went back there, and with newfound developed abilities, way long, because around then was the first years of me investigating the paranormal. And, I was there for a reason. I validated everything I experienced from all those years ago, these dark things that were there. And I believe that I may have helped some spirits that were asking for help from me too. And you'll see evidence of that. So it's scary. It's creepy, unique, and damn, my psychic walkthrough is like well over an hour, because that place is like 29 rooms. I mean, it was very draining to go around and try to tap into all the different areas of that property.
Pam has she's putting up all your social media.
She's been doing it. I've been following and your YouTube, your Instagram, and your Facebook.
Yeah, make sure you do that. Get on the YouTube. A lot of great stuff over there. I had one last question that I started talking and I completely forgot what that question was.
You're old, Paul.
I know. I need to start. I should stop playing with these. And oh, that's weird.
What?
Oh, I have a green screen setting on here. These are green Post-it notes, but they're coming across as a background. Oh, that's cool. Squirrel. Oh, today's Squirrel Appreciation Day. Hope you guys celebrated. And there's his YouTube channel. Whoops, not that one. That one there. YouTube channel there. Go ahead and check that out, man. Some awesome stuff in there. So glad you do what you do. I like I said before, I don't like watching the stuff on TV. It's all YouTube and stuff now, and you are certainly one of the better ones to check out. So go check out his paranormal stuff for some awesome investigations and stuff. You see him helping some spirits cross over, and just doing some fun stuff. The one with the lake, I thought was pretty darn cool.
Yeah, it's very unique. I really enjoyed that myself. It's very interesting.
Yeah. And somebody in chat was saying something about taking a Ouija board out into the ocean because no one talks about ghosts in the water, and like, well, you did. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
There's plenty there. There's plenty to go around in that place.
Yeah.
One last question. Have you ever gone to a place and been completely disappointed with the lack of activity or something?
I think some places are lighter than ever, but everywhere I go, I seem to start to get something. I attract a lot of activity around me.
Yeah.
I mean, I could literally just start doing right here, and then things just start happening. To be honest with you, I feel like I'm just a magnet.
Mm-hmm. So, quick question: do you have like family with kids and stuff that you bring this stuff home to? And
no,
okay,
bachelor still. Yeah, no family, no kids.
In your line of work, it might be a good thing.
Yeah. I always get a speech before I go out.
Some females for sure.
I always get a speech from my wife whenever I go out. And you're not allowed to bring anything home with you. So okay.
Right.
I'll try.
I know everyone blames me for that one. So
yeah. Somebody else mentioned, I think Andrew mentioned that you sometimes have a live feed going while you're sleeping and you get all kinds of activity in your bedroom like that.
Yeah, well, not a live feed. I haven't done that in a while, but I'll leave a camera on and if I capture something, I'll post it. I've captured some really wild stuff. Yeah.
Wow.
Really? Wow.
People talking and saying stuff. It's very informative and wild all at the same time. Comforting sometimes, like the one I just told you about before, but sometimes there's some creepy stuff, but it's everywhere. It is what it is,
Absolutely it is.
Yeah, you said it right there. It's everywhere. I don't
like
saying
life that I live. The paranormal is my normal. So.
Yeah. And you said it right there. It's everywhere. I don't like saying ghost hunting because you don't really have to go far to find it. I mean, it's all around us.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really, really is.
So,
yeah.
Well, Sean, I really appreciate you coming on tonight, spending part of your Wednesday night with us here. It's been fantastic. I really enjoyed this.
I've enjoyed this too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was nice to meet you, Sean. I did. I just followed your channel and I'm going to watch some of your YouTubes tonight. So.
Yeah. No, I thank you guys for having me on. I'll definitely take you up in your offer next time I'm out that way to hit up that place you're talking about. I'd love to film over there.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I'm taking Mandy's coming out in March. We're going to show her that and Ray County. So she'll have that for you as well. So.
Oh yeah, I know. Mandy's good. She definitely helps me with a lot of locations because she's always getting stuff out there all the time. So when I'm out there, I'm always jumping around. I've already have a location. Some guy wants me to check out some house in Ohio. So I'm gonna have to go out there at some point, but and maybe I can line up some stuff out there. Maybe meet up with you guys and link up.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome. Cool.
Be great.
We'd love to do that. So guys, I appreciate y'all watching with us tonight. And again, be safe this weekend. Snowmageddon, Ice-mageddon, whatever you want to call it. It's not going to be pretty, I guess, Midwest and South. So yeah, just be careful out there if you're going to go out. If you have to go out, I would certainly reconsider that. So quick thank you to Bigfoot Fades for the $2 in chat. Appreciate you. And as always, thank you all for watching. And Sean, once again, be safe tonight in your battlefield that you're going to.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna be live over there, so if you want to watch,
head on over there in a few minutes.
Creepy things that came through last time. I was just there a few nights ago. So
very cool.
Awesome, cool.
Yep.
All right, guys. Everybody have a great rest of your week, and we will see you all next week, Thursday, tomorrow night. Krista on Blinds and Booze. Blinds and Booze. Man, I can't talk. Blinds and Booze, make sure you tune in to them. And we will see you all later. Thanks, everybody.
Night.